Mini Comics Day 2016 Part 2! So here we are in Manga Studio. This is a comic book drawing application. If you want to copy the debut version, it's pretty cheap, like I can't remember, 50 bucks or so. For software that's pretty cheap. So we're going to go in here. I haven't really used it as much as I should have. Okay, so we are going to make a new story. And we want an 8-page story. We will be doing the cover and back cover probably in a different application. Just because. I don't know. Maybe we'll put in a page or two for them. Okay, so page template. Let's go over here. I really want a 600 DPI one. And I really wish these were in inches and whatnot. Okay, fine. We're just doing custom. Okay, 5 by 7.5. So that should give us a 1 by 1.5 ratio of height to width. Let's go into story info. Start a fluffy bunny. We are going to call this Peanut Butter and Jelly Sandwich for Stegosaurus. Let's make sure I get that right. Author info. I might go change this in the real thing. Seki Pants did it. We're just going to hit OK. And hopefully 8 pages. So there you go. Okay, so as you see here, I wish that was zoomed in a bit more. Guess not. We have 1 and 2. That doesn't look right. 1 should be on the first page. I guess it doesn't matter too much, because I am going to rip out all the pages and put them in another document to PDF and print out. Take to Kinko's, so forget it. Okay. I think that sounds pretty good. Let's get the first page in here. So yeah, let's start getting this page going. So I decided to look at the panel count, and then this looked like a reasonable panel layout, so I just added a panel layout from over there. Pretty simple, actually. So now it's time to do the first scene. Normally I get this blue color. I think my settings are messed up in this application. But anyway, so I draw the stego getting up in bed, and I don't like that picture I'm doing. So I zoom it out a bit, and here's our stego coming into the kitchen to make himself a peanut butter sandwich. And then I want to, cut and paste and shrink and rotate it, and for some reason Manga Studio does not like to do that the way I would expect it to. I did have some troubles making sure to keep his hat, his little sleeping cap, on the right way. Anyway, there he is. He's gone to the cupboard, and the cupboard is bare. He's out of bread. So then it's on to page 2, and I decide that can just be cut down the middle both ways. And then, the panel cutter tries to get in my way. Annoying, but whatever. So there he is saying, let's go to the store, I guess. And there he is off to the store. And since he's a humanoid dino, he gets a nice little outfit. And since it's a dino, you get a nice little volcano, and there's a little dino chasing another dino. I had copy problems again. And so there he is complaining to himself. And then we get to the shopping. I kind of decided that the cashier is going to be a Styracosaurus, where Frill was too big. So then in the background you get some cute stuff of a T-Rex as a cashier and a little dino that can barely push the cart. So after this, it's time to start inking. And I try to figure out why I don't get my blue lines, and I finally figure out how to get them. So off it is to inking, but on these pages I was just using the wrong pen. It is just tiny and I can't fill any space with it. So it was making this a lot harder than it should have been. And I'm not using my shoulder to move so much, and it's just uncomfortable on the tablet, I guess. So all my lines are kind of weird and shaky and off center, which is annoying. And for a while here, I'm going to be playing with a tone, because I figure, hey, I should make the carpet gray. That wants to fill in the whole thing, which is not what I want. And so I played around a while with just whiting out everything else. But eventually I decided that was also in the gutters and I didn't want to have to mess with it, so off it went. So, just more inking here. Trying to make sure I don't get Mr. Stego there looking different in every frame. Trying to get all the scenery looking the same from panel to panel. Yeah, I was just finally deleting that tone layer. Looking how it looks without the blue lines to make sure I didn't miss anything. And so we're up to, what is that, panel 3? Keep checking at the script to make sure if his mouth needs to be open or not if he's talking. Little things like that are actually more obnoxious than you'd think, even in a little terrible comic like this one. Okay, so now we're on the last panel of page 1. And so now our dino friend has opened the cupboard and found it to be bare. And as a little side joke, I put the empty jar of peanut butter right there on the counter. So he could have seen it if he looked and saved himself a trip. But he didn't. And yeah, I got Phil over there for some reason without trying. Can't remember what I was actually trying to do, but it wasn't Phil. So, since that pen's so small, I spent a lot of time kind of going around things to try and make them stick out. Okay, so now we're on to page 2. Looks like I decided this was the funnest page, so we got our little raptor going after that little lizard thing. I really hate how I did the nose on our Stego guy, but once I did it, I had to stick with it. I don't think his proportions stay the same now that I'm looking at it. I think his arms tend to get longer. And I had to invent interesting ways for them to grasp things. Anyway, that pterodactyl, it's got a shopping bag. It's been shopping. Because, you know, we've been doing humanoid dinos, so might as well. And then, you know, Styracosaurus cashier looked more interesting than the other panels, so she gets to be next. She gets some fancy wavy hair. And she gets to be in the story about 3 times, so figured might as well make her interesting. She has some nice spot blacks that basically nothing else in this comic has. I think this comic would actually look better if I colored it. Who knows, maybe I'll do that someday, assuming I finish it, because it's about 7 o'clock when I'm narrating this. And I just finished, well, I didn't quite finish, because I'm having problems with the dialogue balloons. They're not opaque for some reason. But I just finished up to page 4, basically, and things are not going well. I'm only about halfway done. So I may have to cheat and either keep going or quit. And I don't want to quit since I've already uploaded episode 1. Anyway, interesting panel there where we're kind of looking from inside the cupboard, if you can't tell. So, yeah. This is at 16 speed, by the way. So we're about done, I think, with that page. I gotta go back in and clean everything up some more. So now that the inking is done, it's time to put in word balloons. And Manga Studio does make this easier. Notice that it's in all caps. If you look at actual comic books, they're usually in all caps. So I tried to copy that here. I think they're usually centered too, but I was lazy for that. So it tends to change my font size when I don't want it to. I don't like that either. But anyway, For some reason, see, these balloons are opaque, but on page 3 and 4, they're not. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Here she is being professional. Next time we see her, she's a little bit snarky. And that'll do it. See you next episode. Bye-bye.